new Typhon Grom. Feels a little heavier than the Granite. Very similar inside, plus the fan there. We're going to open it up later and see if the pinion and spur count is all the same. Wing mount is nice, goes to the rear strut tower. Looks like it does have the plastic diffs just like the Granite, so that'll definitely be a needed upgrade. We'll check the shock lengths too, see if they're the same length as the Granite or if they are longer. And of course we have the remote, batteries, hex key, shock shims, and the USB-C charger. Same care package that comes with the Granite Grom. For our initial test, we will use the stock electronics. I've got a very nice brushless setup coming for it, but of course, it is not here yet. Like the same battery as the Granite, so I've got one right here. It's the same thing. This one should be slightly more charged. Servo is a little slow. I don't remember the Granite being that slow. I'm sure it's the same servo though. Trying to see if I can see the label. I can't quite. Fan is nice and quiet. Doesn't seem like it's going to be too crazy fast, but we will find out. ESC height is definitely going to be an issue here on people upgrading. I can't even fit my GPS in there. I need to stick it on the wing. It does fit on the body there very nice. Very snug. I don't think any dirt. I think it's got little vents in the back there. Alright, we'll take it outside and see how it does. Alright, so I took it out there on a not quite fully charged battery. It does seem very slow, so we'll test it again on a full battery. My GPS was not charged, so I couldn't test accurately, but it did not seem very impressive out of the box. We'll get both those batteries charging. We'll go ahead and take this apart now and see what's inside, if it's all the same. It did seem to handle very, very well, much better than the Granite did out of the box. The suspension definitely feels a little softer, a little more controlled rebound. It's not as bouncy as the Granite, a little slower to come back. Let me go blow the dust off this here and we'll take it apart. Despite the body being sealed up so well, still got a bunch of dust in there pretty quickly. Unfortunate. I'm really curious if it's the same gearing, but from my speed test results, I'm going to say yes, it is the same gearing. Oh, I'm gonna break some shit. There's an extra screw right in the middle that I missed. That is not there on the short wheelbase version. Gonna break some shit. There we go. It is an 18-tooth pinion. The Granite comes with a 16-tooth pinion stock. So I imagine the spur is probably the same. I believe it's a 59-tooth. And I don't think it's marked anywhere, so I think I'd have to count them. Oh, it is there. It is, yeah. You guys probably can't see it, but it is a 59-tooth spur. So, assuming the tires are the same size, which I believe they are. Yeah, they appear to be the same height, just skinnier. The Typhon should be a little faster than the Grom, stock for stock. So maybe my batteries are slower than I thought. We'll find out for sure once my GPS is charged up. That's cool. I'm happy that there is a tangible difference in speed between the two. Otherwise, looks to be the same thing: a steel center drive shaft, a hex center drive shaft. They'll probably offer an aluminum upgrade like they do for the Granite once everything drops. Let's go ahead and take a look at the arm length, see if that's the same. Be hard to measure this precisely, but I think if there was going to be a difference, it wasn't going to be a millimeter or two. It'd be significant. Rear upper arms appear to be the same length, appear to be the same profile. I don't see any visual differences. Same with the lowers. Fronts, yeah. All the arms are the same. Links are the same. I would assume the hubs are the same as well. The tires I didn't mention before, these are the 2HO D-boots. Cool little pattern on them. That's the same tire that comes on the 3S Typhon and probably the Mega 550 Typhon as well. This is a smaller version. I'm going to go ahead and swap in my metal diffs in here. I've had an extra set waiting because they are definitely a definite weak point on this chassis. That's the part number there, ARRMA 311193. They have been in stock intermittently. They come and go, and so when they were in stock, I bought 3 sets. I put one in my speedrun Grom, I put one in my second Grom, and then I had an extra set that I was holding for this exact reason, that eventually, when the Typhon Grom dropped, I would have metal diffs ready to go. This is a cool little skid plate on the front. It ties around to the lower control arm pin retainer. That should be very sturdy. So let's go ahead and take that off. Now, looks like I gotta take this little trim piece off to be able to get to the vertical screws, retaining that front crash bar in place. That's a different screw, so we'll keep that one separate. And there's little access holes to be able to get to these guys. Otherwise, they'd be completely obstructed. Now, yeah, it should just slide forward, just like in the Granite. It gives you the access to the lower control arm pins and to the diff case screws. What I like to do is pull out the lower pins so I can swing the axles out of the way, pull the dog bones out of the drive cups. And then we'll take off the front diff cover here. It's a little stiff, almost like it's never been removed before. And there we have it. We have our metal geared diff, but plastic internal gears, and then plastic drive cups is just as big of a problem as the plastic internal gears. This is secured by one screw into a plastic gear, and it'll loosen up, and it's located with 2 little tabs, and the tabs will break off when the screw backs out just a little bit. It becomes loose. It feels a little sloppier than the Grom one. Normally it's a little bit stiffer. I mean, it is the front diff, but not like they're not different numbers or anything. So here's the upgraded diff, the steel drive cups, steel internal gears. Haven't broken one yet. Been 65 miles an hour with my my Granite speed run, and it has more in it, but it is incredibly difficult to control. Anything beyond like 55 miles an hour is just almost impossible to keep it moving, even with a gyro. I really need to build like a custom extended wheelie bar for it. Would probably help out a lot. Just haven't gotten there yet. Fits in there nicely. I'll normally go ahead and insert the dog bones back into it now before I put the diff cover back on. Slide that in. Put that in. Repeat the same on the other side. You can put a little bit of grease on this if you want. It'll pick up grease from the inside. It's really riding on the bearing. Like, it's just the same as you don't need grease between the pinion here. Maybe I'll put a little bit on there, just so people don't yell at me. That'll spread around. Put the diff cover back on. That retains the upper arm pins. That one actually has like a little recess going into the strut tower. On the Granite, it sits kind of on top of it. This one sits into it a little bit. Just very minor design changes, but I've taken apart the Granite so many times, it's easy to catch them. All right, so that is complete. Now this slides into place and captures the lower control arm pins when it does. If I can get it to, there we go. There's these 2 upper screws and 4 lower screws. Be careful we don't over torque these. These screws will get the snot beat out of them in bashing. Probably get a skid plate for the front. I know one company makes them. For the rear, I believe the Grom wheelie bar will fit on the rear. We will find out. We won't need that until we do the brushless upgrade. Definitely don't need it right now. My steering arm pins fell out. That's okay. We'll deal with that later. They're just going to fall out again. For the rear diff, same thing. We take out this lower skid and then pull out the diff cover and swap it out. I love this little wing on here. I may get one for the Granite once parts are released for this. Because chances are it'll just be $10 or something. The tailgate on the Granite Grom just gets absolutely destroyed. Especially when you have more power and it flips. It's I wouldn't say it's a bad design, but the body should definitely be thicker in that area with the kind of abuse it takes. I put on some custom skids and whatnot, and it makes it last longer, but nothing lasts forever. If this wing mount going into the strut tower can hold up to the abuse, that would be awesome. Looks like there's no upper screws on this one. Yep, just pulls straight out. We'll take out the control arm pins like we did in the front, so we can pull the dog bones out. And then we'll take the diff screws out the rest of the way. All right, so that's all off. There we go. Yeah, this one feels the same as the front. Should be the same part number. I lost one bearing somewhere into Narnia, so allow me to go find that. Preload some grease on that. Stick her in there. The rear dog bones are not captured. They're not CVD at the axle end, so they will pop out all the way if you're not careful, like what just happened. The Granite is the same way. The fronts are CVDs. The rears are just dog bones. There we go. Put the diff cover back on here. And throw our screws back in. All right. Rear diff wants to keep popping the shaft up because there's nothing there to hold it in place. We'll put that bar back on top in a minute. Let's go ahead and put the rear skid back on. I'm gonna grab the wheelie bar real quick while we're here. Somewhere. Of course, it's not in my box of Grom parts. Why would it be in my box of Grom parts? I need to clean off my damn workbench. This is a must-have for any brushless swap on the Grom, and it looks like it should fit onto the Typhon without issue at all. You could even run a little piece of reinforcement up to the top of the wing to keep this from bending, because I have noticed after a lot of abuse this will bend a little bit and you have to bend it back. Nothing major, but almost forgot our little nose cone here. Keep us looking slick. And then let's go ahead and put the steering components back in. To me, this steering linkage looks like it may be slightly different from the Grom on the passenger side here. That piece looks a little bigger than I recall. I could be mistaken. I've definitely been wrong before. I don't recommend it, especially if you're married. Let me grab the Grom real quick. You can't see shit in this one. I think it's just a optical illusion. It looks like it's bigger, but I guess it's not. We'll find out for sure once ARRMA releases this thing. This does have the body retainer clip there on the front. We got a black heat sink instead of the red heat sink that comes on the Granite. And this has the 18 tooth motor plate to go along with the 18 tooth pinion, of course. Let's go ahead and set her back in place. Make sure we're not pinching any wires in the way on anything. Oh yeah, drops right in, perfect. And throw the screws back in. Definitely be careful putting these in that you don't want to strip any of them. Looks like they are all the same length. I like to put all 4 of those in and then put the one on the side to lock the motor down. Last but not least, all set, upgraded with the metal diffs. You can see it is a little bit firmer than the plastic ones were. Plug motor wires back in. See if either of these are charged up yet. They are not. So we shall return with a charged GPS and a fully charged Grom battery and see how we do.
I think the stock Grom is about 20. So with the 18 tooth pinion, should be about 12% faster. So stock Grom is 21 miles an hour. 23 is about what you'd expect. Definitely not groundbreaking. That will soon be addressed.
So that's it for now. Overall, I think it was leaked out. This is going to be 140 to the Grom. Granite Grom's 130. To me, it's a little underwhelming out of the box, but for the name brand being in the parts availability and a few small upgrades, you have got a really solid small scale basher. I think it's probably closer to a 16th scale than 18th scale like the Grom, or the Granite Grom. But if you're using this in small spaces or for a kid that's still learning, I think this is a great little basher. For the adult side, especially if you're using it in bigger spaces or you like to go really fast, definitely plan on doing some upgrades. But should be a pretty solid platform, especially as more companies keep making more parts for it. I'm excited to make this thing what it really should have been out of the box, but we'll have more on that when I get to it. Thanks.